the end of the day, if you're not working on your health, you're losing your health. Right. That's just all there is to it. And it's not like you reach a point in the gym where you're like, okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? Because once you get to the part, you have to keep it. And it takes just as much work to keep it as it takes to get there. So it's just one of those things that people have to make commitments and say, like, I'm going to make this a priority.
You can never have enough conversations, I believe, about taking care of what we're entrusted with as entrepreneurs, as leaders. On this Business Monday episode of A Call to Leadership, I invite Sam and Travis back on the show to talk about the ever important discussion of self-care and health, what it means, how we do it, how to stay accountable, how to reach our goals, how to have fullness of breath, of life, of energy when we need it to shepherd those we are entrusted to lead. Can't wait for you to listen in. I'm Dr. Nate Salah, and this is A Call to Leadership.
I wish, is Jake on Instagram? Because there's so many like business little quirk, and sometimes I send them to you guys about like being fit, and you know what I mean, and like how people respect that and stuff. I know you do, but Jake needs that shit.
Yeah,
like Jake needs to see that stuff.
I believe if you don't take care of yourself physically as an entrepreneur, I feel like it rolls over into every aspect of your life. So if you don't have enough discipline to take care of your most valuable asset, your body, how is that going to translate into you being an effective leader and or being successful in business? I don't think, to me, it's like my body, like how I feel first is how I perform. I perform so much better in the entrepreneurial world when I feel good, right?
This is important conversation to start this episode on, really honestly, because this is something that probably most entrepreneurs put last.
Yes. Oh, 100%. They put themselves last. 1,000%.
Yeah. Someone listening to that right now is like, yeah, that's me. I mean, it's been probably all of us at some point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. At some point, we're not exempt.
No, that's why I was 246 pounds. And I'm still working out.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't taking care of myself the right way.
And you've lost 40 pounds plus 42?
42 pounds, yeah.
And how long?
January 9th to today. So
that's a lot for 6 months. That's a lot for you.
That's a lot. Like I didn't have you didn't have, right. It's not like I was fat.
Just leaned out.
Yeah.
I always say it's like discipline gets you consistency and consistency gets your results.
Oh, 1,000%.
Everything.
Yeah.
Summary.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's all it is.
I mean, you don't wake up and want to go to the gym every day.
No,
I don't.
No, like
there's days I do. Like when I'm in, when you start working out, and you start getting results, and you start getting motivated. But there's days like the other day, I was sitting on my couch drinking coffee. I was like, I really don't want to go today.
Right.
But then I was like, it hit me with I always hit myself with that this is the point where discipline kicks in.
That's when it kicks in.
You have to go. Then you get there and you're happy and you're like, I'm glad I got here. Then you hit the consistency and then you're like, I'm getting these results. And
look, a bad workout is better than no workout.
Right.
I mean, at least it's getting up and moving sometimes.
It's getting there. I mean, like, to me, it's getting there.
But like you said, it filters over. So like, if you can't make yourself make those extra 3 calls in a day, right? Because you don't have the discipline and consistency to do it. Like it's the same skill. You know what I mean? Like the same behavior.
It's priorities too.
Priorities.
So it's like, look, I don't prioritize myself, but I prioritize my business, right? So you be super successful. I know a lot of guys, very successful. They look like absolute crap.
Yeah.
But they're successful. They look 10 years younger than they should. Mm-hmm. But what's the point?
Right.
You're going to, drop dead of a heart attack in 5 or 10 years. Yeah. You made all this money. What's the point?
So true. I just had this conversation not too many months ago with my insurance guy I've had for over 20 years. And he's like, hey, Nate, I got some bad news. I've got cancer and I'm going to retire because I've been at this for 30 years, busting my tail to just die.
Right.
He's like, man, I need to get some things in order. Fortunately, he beat the cancer.
Yeah.
But it's like, those are the kind of things like, man, you know what? What am I doing? And sometimes cancer, it's a whole nother animal. Right. Nonetheless, it's like, what am I doing all of this for? And what is the process along the journey? And you're right. Like, and you don't want to make, the working out or the athleticism the main thing. I mean, and you can, but the point is that it is another tool or resource for you to be your best. Mm-hmm. And it falls away so quickly. I mean, it's like sometimes, unless you have that discipline, I love that, because I know that even in my own life, I mean, just growing up as an athlete, right? And just like both of you, right? In high school, doing athletics, and then, throughout, college, and then so on and so forth, and then keeping it going. Even us who are like ingrained mm-hmm. to be athletic mm-hmm. still have to say, I need to get out and do this.
If I go a week without working out, I don't want to work out. Like
no, it puts you into
1,000%.
Yeah, it's the habit forming.
The habit.
Like what is the one the Instagram reel you sent me say? When I see a fit man, I see someone who has discipline, mm-hmm. delayed gratification. There was something else. It was maybe he said consistency too. I don't remember, but it was like discipline, consistency, and delayed gratification. So he has the mental toughness to have delayed gratification, is mental toughness to not be gratified right now,
right.
to not eat that, the cookie sitting on the table, or, to have to get up and take that 30-minute walk. It's like, it's discipline.
For you, I wonder, like, is there a deeper motivation? Because someone listening is like, well, I just need to find something. What is because you have to look at like, okay, what's the end goal for this, right? Begin with the end in mind. What is it for you that says, okay, this is a non-negotiable. This has to happen.
What about it?
Yeah, like what deeper drive is there for exercising and for staying fit or staying?
You want me to be honest, or you want me to?
I want to be 100%.
There's vain. It's vanity, right? I mean, it's vanity. I mean, part of it's vanity. Part of it is, as I'm getting older, I want to continue to prove to myself that I can continue to do things. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm probably in right now, not the best shape, but close to the best shape I've ever been in. Right. And the best shape I was in my early 30s. And so there's a vanity part of it where I walk into a room of strangers and I know in my head that I can conquer 99% of those people that are sitting in that room, 100%. Right? Like, and so that gives me confidence, right? And so then it allows me to be confident to talk to people, because in my mind, I've already won the battle. You know what I mean? Plus, when you are in shape, people do make comments about it. Like every time we're somewhere, you know what I mean? Like somebody's making a comment like, oh, you're really in great shape. You know what I mean? Like, that's a little, serotonin shot right there, right? Like I got some positive feedback. And it also, in my mind, I know that person recognizes that I'm in better shape. You know what I mean? Like, so there's all these little like things that just like line up. And a lot of it is, there's a big portion that's happened now where it's like, and this is reality, right? Like I have a daughter who's 6.5. She's going to start dating in probably 10 years, right? I need to be
13.
Right. Well, yeah. But I'm just saying like,
uncle,
right.
You have to kick
but
that
so there's that, right? Where it's like, I want to make sure that I am like still somewhat physically intimidating when my daughter starts dating. And then another part of it, which is a really big part, is that some of my best times of my life were spent working out with my dad, right? And I want to have that. Like I see other dads who had their kids younger, right? And they're in the gym working out with them and training them and stuff like that. Like you and Lath with hockey, right? Yeah. Like I want that experience with my kids, because that was a huge part of where I learned how to be a man. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even about working out. It was just the stories and the teachings that happened in that time frame, because it was kind of an equalizer between me and my dad, right? Like it wasn't a competition. It was, he was teaching me, he was proud of me. I was, getting strong, whatever it was, right? But there was, an hour and a half, 4 or 5 times a week that I had just one-on-one time with my dad to talk about life. And I would still love for my dad to come, he's too old now, but I would love for him to like come work out, and so there's all these little things that add up, but a big piece of it is vanity, right? Like I've always been a decent looking guy. And so I don't not want to be a decent looking guy. And so
I think for me, I honestly, I wasn't going to say vanity, but I do know that you very much care about how you look, right? Which is good, right? I mean, if we cared about how we look, maybe we'd take better care of ourselves.
And I would, let me just stop. I want you to talk about it, but I would say vanity, I think maybe yes and no. And I'll say no in a sense where vanity, in your case, would not be how I would necessarily describe it, and it's not me trying to be nice and kind, but vanity is that which has no real meaning or value. You have a lot of value in how you structure your appearance, because your appearance says something about your care. Because if I care enough to take care of myself, I'm going to care about other people as I take care of you too. So I think it goes beyond that. Sure, there's a part of it. It's like, hey, you know what? It feels good when others think that I am whatever, you fill in the blank, right? Yeah. And you're a handsome guy, right? I mean, it's obviously, it's no surprise, right?
No.
Yeah.
You're hot, dude.
Thanks. Bromance is all around the room, right? But I think that there's a deeper motive to that piece, right? I want my cars to be spotless.
Yeah.
Right. And in fact, I just bought a car that I got shipped from, and you guys both know this, right? I just bought a 65 Corvette, which I was really excited about. And the gentleman I purchased it from, when I went and purchased from, actually, we had just left our retreat, our Leadership Elite retreat in Palo Alto, and you guys went home, and I went to check out this 65 Corvette. And the Corvette was clean, spotless. The guy did everything that I would have done to the car. And then I asked him how he cleaned the car. And he said, well, the first thing I do is I take my hand loofah out of a sealed bag. And I'm like, you're my dude.
Right. That's
you're my guy.
Car from.
Right. You're my guy.
Yeah.
And then I bought a side-by-side, an ATV, and it was filthy. And it's okay, but it was filthy. And I'm cleaning it, and I'm like, man, this needs so much cleaning. And my son says, Dad, not everyone is a fanatic like you. And I said, but you're going to meet a fanatic like me when we go to California to pick up this car. And it's not necessarily because there's it's all in vanity. It's because when you want to take care of something that's very important to you. And this is the only body you get.
Or you have mild OCD, which we all have, right? Because I feel like that's an important part of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And body dysmorphia.
Yeah. I
definitely have body dysmorphia.
I've always been active, hockey, basketball my whole life for the most part till this day, still play. I think it's different though. I think back then, I'd always be in the gym from a perspective of, I was always, even at my worst, was 2 to 3 days a week. You know what I mean? Like whether it was, and I was learning, working out. There was techniques I learned that got me more results, that I was doing stuff before that maybe wouldn't get me the results I wanted to get right. But now I have all this knowledge, right, of how to get myself right back. We had this conversation not that long ago where I was like, man, I'm ready to hit it hard, right? And I want to do these things. And I know how to do that. And I think my reasoning for it, obviously it's nice to fit in your shirts and fit in your clothes. And that's what I would call a byproduct,
right? A
byproduct of the work you put in, right? But the more work you put in, you look better in your clothes and you look better, period, right? But at the end of the day, I want to live long, which is my number one goal, is to live long. I want to live as long as possible for my family and my kids. I want to feel good, right? So you hit something that was real and hit home with me, because I'm the same. Once you hit your midlife, 45, whatever it may be, I had this thing in my head where I was like, I want to be the best, most in shape 45-year-old.
100%.
That in my head, I made that. And me well, when I put my mind to something, there is nothing that's going to stop me. I don't have barriers in my mind, right? Self-limiting beliefs. No. Once I say I want to do, I know that's what I want to do. And
once you make that mental step,
and I told you that.
Yeah,
I said, when I recently turned 45 in April, I was like, you know what? I don't care about the age and the number. I want to, I already had people that did not, that didn't believe my age, right? No, 44, I'm playing with 30-year-olds. I'm playing with 25-year-olds, and I'm like, I had to pull my idea out in the locker room. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah. And I realized that, and people asked me, they're like, what are you doing? Like, what's your, and I said, I just never stop moving. I never stopped moving. Like I didn't have a month where I didn't work out or I didn't play hockey. Or I never, like, people have months of stopping things. Even when I was like, so when I was an entrepreneur and I was stressed out and I didn't know if I was going to make it and things were tough and I was like all uncertainty, I still went to the gym.
Right.
Because the gym, I knew that if I didn't release this stress, I was going to release it in ways that weren't the best way to release it. So I would go to the gym and I would be like stressed out a day at work, all these, no, I'm going to the gym, put my headphones on, work it, and I feel so much better. Or, growing up, I had anxiety. How did I deal with anxiety, right? I didn't take meds for it. I just, when I felt that coming on, I'd go to the gym or I'd be on the ice. I would work. I call anxiety extra energy, right? It's energy you have to place in different places, right? So my whole, I put it into my working out. I put it into, being an athlete, staying, even to this day, right? People joke around with me all the time. What are you doing playing hockey at 45 years old? And, I'm not just playing at the lowest levels. I'm playing at high levels, for my age, right? With guys that are still playing and taking it relatively, but for me, it's a challenge. It's like, if I tell myself I can't do it, I'm done. So I keep putting myself in uncomfortable situations. So I think to sum it up, playing hockey, being in the gym gives me a level of confidence at my age that, I want to be in the best possible shape going into the second half of my life.
Right.
And I have health benefits. I have physical benefits. I have all those things. And the biggest thing for me is like, if I can't take care of myself well, how am I going to take care of everyone I'm responsible for well? Right.
And and I think, so, The Rock, as funny as it is, right? Like he's obviously a huge, guy who works out in the gym, but he says The Rock. So he always talks about, and I believe this, right? The gym is he calls it his anchor of his day, right? So crazy stuff happens, obviously he's got a crazy lifestyle and he's doing all kinds of stuff and running around, but the gym is like his anchor. It's the consistency every single day. Like, this is the one thing in my life that I can count on and depend on to be the same, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that in an entrepreneur's world, we wear so many hats, right? There's so many fires that need to be put out. We have no idea, right? Like the beginning of the day, we have a plan on what we want to accomplish that day. But by the end of the day, there's, 3 times more things that we had to do that we weren't expecting to, right? And so the gym to me is that, and look, my workouts are, some days they're 45 minutes, some days they're an hour and 15, but I'm never in the gym for like 3 or 4 hours, right? Never, right?
I'm an hour, the same thing with me.
I'm in, I am out. I don't want to talk to people. Sometimes you have to, right? But I'm not there to socialize. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to get a job done, right?
So I feel actually a little bit elite right now because he's invited me to work out with him tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I never have people work out with me, dude. Like
the bell went off. I'm like, okay.
Right. So that, and like even my wife, like when she was working out for a while, like we would go to the gym together, but she would do her, and I'm like, look, this is my time. And I say, you guys have heard me say this. It's the 1 hour a day I get. 23 hours a day is given to other people, to sleep, whatever it is. That's my time. And, part of it is, I have a goal. Like I want to be in a certain shape when I'm 50 years old. Right. And so I can't wait till I'm 49 to start that. You know what I mean? Like it's something that has to just be a continual evaluation. And I also like working out. Like I like the fact that I have full control, because in most parts of our lives as entrepreneurs, you don't have a lot of control, right? You don't have a lot of control. I'm somewhat of a control freak. So that is something that challenges me. But the gym, my diet, what I put in my body, those are all things that I have full control over. And so I emphasize that because it's the one spot in my life where it feels like I can get it under control when the rest of my life can feel like it's out of control.
Agreed. Yeah. I love the goal setting piece. And incidentally, it's impressive that you're showing people your ID to show that you're actually older than you are.
All the time.
I mean, you've come a long way from showing my ID so you can show that you are older than you actually were back then.
That was like just because you knew them. It was because you knew them. We look nothing. We look alike.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a stretch. Literally.
You had me the whole time thinking I was getting put old Doug Hall. He's listening. I knew, Doug, I knew you knew it wasn't Nate the whole time. I think it was the laugh after the idea.
Yeah. Well, there were some clubs that you got into that I didn't get into.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Back then,
you remember that.
Use my fake sharp. I couldn't get in my real idea.
You're pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
I mean, that's because I work out. I have improved brain function.
Right.
I want to show you this picture. So this, I don't know if I'll be able to show this on our YouTube or not, but Tara sent me this picture the other day.
Look at those guns.
She goes, and then she put, hey, look at Andrew Tate. That's what she said, right? I'm like, when was it? She said, 09. I'm like, dang, I was in good shape.
Right.
But I bring this up to say this because,
days.
yeah, right. I think it's important to look at where you have been. If you've been in a spot, and this is for someone listening, perhaps you've been in a spot where you are in a better condition than you are today.
Yeah.
Review that, hold on and then say, you know what? It gives you energy and motivation to go back there. Right. Vision of what was and what can be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. Because I saw this, I was like, I was swole back in 09, man. I got to get that back. And it motivated me. I'm like, I got to get that lifetime membership with Travis that I talked about. I got to do this. I got to do that. What was I doing then? Right.
Right. You're doing the same workout program you're doing right now.
And it's knowledge
too. Workout program I just gave you again.
Exactly.
Knowledge is a big piece of it too.
Yeah.
Because you gave me that workout program. How many, what was that? 15 years ago?
09, yeah.
Knowledge. So, an entrepreneur in business, the more knowledge you have, the more successful you'll be. The more data you have, the more successful you'll be. Working out's no different. A lot of people go to the gym. Like, how many people have you been at the gym and they're like, they're doing an exercise and they're doing it completely wrong.
All the time.
And you're like,
I just want to talk to them.
You're like, man, I want to say something to you right now. But like, I know you think you're doing something.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's people go in and they think actually being there and sitting on a machine and doing 3 reps, like they're doing it.
Well, that's because Grant Cardone told them just show up, right? I'm kidding, but it's a starting point.
I know exactly the type of people you're talking about, right? And look, I give them credit because they go to the gym.
They're there.
They're there.
Step one.
But I mean, the thing is just like anything else in life, if you're not getting results by what you're doing, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got to switch it up.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that I've been working out consistently. I'm 43 for 30 years. My 13th birthday is when my dad put me on a workout program, and I legitimately have not really stopped in 30 years. I still will talk to trainers about specific things that I want to do, right? Because I don't know everything. Like I research stuff if I want to change my workout. Like I don't know everything, and I've been doing this for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, what's 5 days a week times 30 years? Like that's a lot of time that I've put in the gym, but I still seek out people who know things more than me to get answers. Just like in business, if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to reach out to a team member. So, I think that that's important to take a look. Great to have vision and say, hey, here's where I want to go. But if you don't know how to get there, it's okay. Like this is not something you're just born with knowledge of, biomechanics and how to build a body and what your diet looks like. It's trial and error and talking to people. But at the end of the day, if you're not working on your health, you're losing your health. Right. Like that's just all there is to it. Like it's not like you reach a point in the gym where you're like, okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? Because once you get to the part, you have to keep it. And it takes just as much work to keep it as it takes to get there. So it's just one of those things that people have to make commitments and say like, I'm going to make this a priority. And then you have to just do it. Like you just have to do it.
Yeah. And find those inspiring things. I for one, first of all, obviously taking care of your body is good for business.
Yeah.
It's a non-negotiable.
Corporations put gyms in their offices.
Good for business. It increases your energy, increases your brain function, more confidence, stress levels decrease, right? Just think about anytime that I'm facing a high challenge situation and I'm not able to overcome it, maybe there's some kind of a mental block or I feel a little bit of emotion around it, go for a run, go for a workout, do something. And this is just me, right? But I've found that it's the same problem in an hour, but I'm approaching it much differently without that same level of weight on my shoulders, right? So there's tons of benefit for that. Physical health, better sleep. All of it. The discipline piece, right? It's all good for business. If you're not doing it, you're probably not maximizing the possibilities of your business.
No. And here's the thing, right? Like most entrepreneurs, you are the product, right? Like at the end of the day, you are the product. If you go to a fancy restaurant, they dress that product up, right? That meal that comes out, it looks very nice. You know what I mean? Presentation is everything. And so when we're presenting our businesses and it's us and we are the business, people are going to pay attention to what you look like. Are you going to wear holy jeans and an old t-shirt? No, you're going to probably put on a nice pair of slacks or a suit or something, right? Because you know that presentation is everything. You don't have to have a six pack to be successful in business, but you also shouldn't be 100 pounds overweight. You know what I mean? Like, people pay attention to these things, and it's just these little small things that will help you put together the bigger package of being successful.
If you've ever set a goal that didn't pan out, it likely meant that you either did not have the motivation wasn't enough, the risk didn't outweigh the reward, sacrifice didn't outweigh the benefit, or you didn't have any accountability. Mm-hmm. I think accountability is a big part of this, right? Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what holds each of us accountable to staying on this course of taking care of our bodies?
I think it's like you said, discipline. I think that's what it is for me. I mean, for me, it's discipline, right? So you're disciplined, but there's a deeper level, something that holds you accountable to.
But I think we just talked about that, right? Because I think everyone has different reasons for being. So to be good at something, I believe you have to be obsessed with it. Obsessed with something. So like, if I'm obsessed with how I look, I'm going to look good. If I'm obsessed with succeeding, I will succeed, right? So there's a level of obsession that has to be, part of the equation, right? But I think, for multiple reasons, there isn't, you don't want to work out every day. I mean, I've been, for the last 45 days, I've been at 4 to 5 days a week, some days, 6 days a week, you know what I mean? And called you the other day. I'm like, should I take more breaks? Am I working myself out? I mean, I felt great. I didn't feel like I needed to take a break. You know what I mean? Right.
But because in my mind, I'm obsessed now. Mm-hmm. Now I've committed, and now my brain is like, you should get up and go. Mm-hmm. Like this morning, right? I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, we have to meet at 11. Do I have time to go get a quick hour before I come? Right. And I don't like working out in the evening. So like, it's like, if it doesn't happen, earlier in the day, it's tough for me.
Right.
Right. And it's a mental challenge for me. So I may not physically lift weights in the evening, but I'll go swim. Mm-hmm. I'll go do cardio. Yeah. Right. But like I said, I think discipline is the biggest thing. I do. I don't think you're going to wake up every day and want to do this.
Right. No, you're not. And so the things that hold me accountable, right? It's going to sound super obsessive, but it is what it is. So I get on the scale in the morning, I get on the scale in the evening, right? Ooh, so 2 times a day, I'm checking in, right? So I know in the morning, right? Here's where I normally weigh in at, and it may not ever change, but I know that's the number one, right? Like, what's my body doing? Because I will tell you, right? Like, your body, you will gain 7 pounds in one day of water. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the next day you'll be 9 pounds lighter than you were the day before. And so you can't let the number rule you, but you have to have mile markers and understand what's going on with your body, right? That's number one. Number two, how you look, how you feel, right? If I don't eat a ton of carbs, but if the other night my wife made spaghetti and made a big deal about me eating dinner with the family. Cool. So I ate some spaghetti. Well, the next day I'm 6 pounds heavier. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. Like,
it's a lot of spaghetti, man.
Well, the sodium too.
It's the sodium. It's the fact that my body retains that water, right? Like, I didn't eat 6 pounds worth of spaghetti. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm aware. Right. Just for the record, I know what you meant. It's my job to be there. Right?
But you know what I did is so for 2 days after that, I was, not that I'm not strict with my diet, but I was stricter with my diet, right? Because it was something that was sitting in the back of my mind, and it was frustrating because I don't like seeing that number go up, right? So today I'm back where I need to be. But I take that, I look at myself in the mirror, right? Like when I'm getting ready to go, so I can see if my clothes, how they're fitting. I know how they're fitting. So there's all these little things, but you have to have that, right? So we did a program once called 75 Hard. It's from a guy from St. Louis, very well known. And in that, you literally have to take a picture of yourself every single day. You don't share it with anybody, but you take it. And so a lot of people, when I talk to them about doing that program, they're like, that makes me uncomfortable. Well, it's for you. But the thing is that when you go back and you look at 75 individual pictures, you can start to see the progress that you've made in those 75 days. And that's a way to touch base, check in, to be able to hold yourself accountable, and also to give yourself extra motivation that you've seen these results, and 30 days, you're going to start seeing some serious results if you follow something like that. Like, it gives you the motivation to continue on, right? It clicks that obsession into your body, you know?
You don't want to go backwards.
You don't want to go backwards, you know? So I think that for people that are out there, right? Do whatever is comfortable for you, right? Take a picture of yourself, weigh yourself. But you got to have some type of verifiable data that is giving you the feedback of, am I progressing or am I not? You may feel great, and that's good, right? Because working out is about feeling good. You may lose some stress. Awesome. And if that's your goal, that's your goal. But if you're really trying to get in better shape and you're trying to lose some weight or become more healthy, you have to have these data points to be able to give yourself that biofeedback.
Agreed. Yeah. And small victories build courage.
Yes.
They build confidence, right? And I agree with those incremental wins, right? On a day-to-day basis, they continue to move you forward, right? Yeah. Some pathway to progress is important. It's better than, and even if you took one step back one day, you can take 2 steps forward the next day.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other part of it is, for me, and this, not necessarily vanity, but I've got a 16-year-old son. Mm-hmm. He's getting kind of strong, right? It's accountability. He's motivating me. I'm like, oh, you're getting kind of strong, young man. I'm going to have to hit a little harder.
Yeah.
I want to lengthen that window.
Yeah.
Until there will come a day.
1,000%.
Absolutely.
There will come a day when he'll take me. It's inevitable.
It has to come.
But if I can prolong that day and have fun with it, right? One day Lath is going to be like, Dad, I'm going to take you.
Oh, I mean, he's going to be 10 times the player I ever was going to be. He's got the resources.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different.
It's going to be like,
right. Yeah. Hopefully.
It might take a while. Now you think, well, look at Arnold, right? And I wonder, at what point, if any. Oh yeah, like look at, of course, you talk about Dwayne Johnson, right? The Rock, right? Yeah. At what point do your kids? I guess you probably have to be 80.
He has daughters.
He's 50, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 50. He's like 52, 51. Yeah.
Yeah. Point being, at least with this segment of the episode, at least this, as we close out this segment, find the motivation, find the will, find the inspiration, find the accountability. If it's accountability partners, whatever, I message you. I'm like, hey man, what was that workout? Mm-hmm. You're like, dude, download this, boom, do that, right? Mm-hmm. Find people in your life who can help you to continue to move forward in that area, because you get only one of these bodies, and use it as a temple.
Yes.
Give it the most respect as possible so that you can get the most out of it. And it's not just the body, it's attached to the mind. It's attached to the spirit. Mm-hmm. It's the whole person, the whole being. Yeah. Give it the love.
Yes.